So, our wretched little savior returns. Come to join the last pathetic battle of the vampire race? But on which side, I wonder?
You have read the signs, but missed their meaning. You believe you are that myth of vampire prophecy, the scion of balance, and that Raziel holds the key to fulfilling your destiny. You are too late for the victory you sought. I have beaten you after all.
You have mistaken my identity.
Have I? You forget who schooled me in the ancient prophecies.
You are ordained by prophecy to wield the Reaver. And so I do, though not quite as you'd envisioned. Redeemer and Destroyer.
Do you see? However far you stray, you will always return to me. Surrender, Raziel.
Never!
Ah, well then. It seems we have our answer. You've chosen your path.
I have chosen nothing. I've been deceived at every turn. You seem to know what I am. Tell me, because you do not wish it. Is my free will to be exercised only when it accords with your whim?
There's much more at stake in this than you know.
Yeah.
Which hero do you think you are now? The vampire savior, or the other one? Have you realized yet that it didn't matter to us which one either of you thought you were, so long as the result was the same in the end?
I refuse to bend my will.
It has always been my will to satisfy, never your own.
Kain thought I truly had free will.
Oh, but you do?
Kain, why is this no surprise?
Because our destinies run together, Raziel, like two rivers that have met and can never be distinct again. At your every fatal turn, you'll find me.
And the free will you said was mine. What has become of that?
You still have it. And that has everything to do with my presence here now.
Yo guys, what's going on? This is Jason coming back with another review, and we are now at the final game of the Legacy of Kain series, and that's the Legacy of Kain Defiance. You know, the music I'm playing right now is actually a track that was actually, it was actually removed from the game, and then they later on would publish it online. Honestly, listening to this track, I wish they put this in the game because it just really fits the scenario for Legacy of Kain Defiance. But overall, we are now full circle to the last and final chapter, or at least the final game of the Legacy of Kain series, and that's Legacy of Kain Defiance. Now, if you guys have not watched my previous reviews, I suggest you take a look at the other ones, because if I'm going in right in with the review, I ain't gonna do any we call it callbacks, because it would take too long, and honestly I just think you should watch the other reviews to get a better idea. So Legacy of Kain Defiance starts off with kind of a recap of 1, 2 from Blood Omen 1, 2, and also Soul Eater 1 and 2. And we start off with Kain, the Patriarch himself, infiltrating this Seraphim stronghold to have a chat with Mobius about Raziel. And of course, let's just say the first encounter doesn't go towards Kain's favor. Mobius does a dirty trick where he uses his damn staff to paralyze Kain and tells him, "Meet me on top of the tower and we'll talk." Yeah, Mobius is a pretty big douche in this game. You find out later he's a much more bigger douche in this game compared to Soul Eater 2 and Blood Omen. He's actually, a big asshole. But overall, Kain catches up with Mobius, and of course, Kain, in old good fashion, demands answers by, removing his damn staff from his hand and telling him to start talking, or, he'll die. Of course, Mobius grovels before Kain and tells him about what he wants to know, that Raziel isn't what he thinks he is, and of course, if he wants answers, he should go back to the pillars, to the text, the stone and text, that kind of give Kain an idea of what his destiny is and what Raziel is. Now, this game is focused on the idea of changing your destiny, but it also kind of pinpoints Kain and Raziel against each other, when really the true enemies are the Elder God and Mobius, the people who are trying to put these two characters, our two heroes, against each other, so they can fulfill their own means to control Nazgûl. And of course, Mobius is just a pawn. Keep in mind, he's just a pawn. The Elder God is really the one who's pulling the strings and trying to prevent Raziel from doing this and that. And actually, the Elder God goes to great lengths to make sure Raziel does not leave the underworld. Of course, Raziel finds a way through unconventional means by possessing a dead body and being resurrected that way. Now, the overall, you play back and forth between Kain and Raziel. Okay, the story is it goes back and forth. Okay, Kain is, in order for him to meet up with Raziel, he has to first complete the balance emblem. The balance emblem. That's the thing that activates the true power within the Reaver. And once he does that, he's able to go in time and have a talk with the Oracle. That's actually the Elder God, okay, in disguise. The ancient vampires have worshipped the Elder Gods. The Elder God are the Oracle, not knowing that it was the parasite Elder God who would deceive the vampires and the Hilden. Now, the Hilden actually have a little more depth in this game. Not too much, but we find out through Raziel's perspective that the Hilden were actually just like the vampires. They had a savior of their own, and of course that would be Raziel. But the idea was to break the shackles of the vampires' pillars. Practically, the pillars are shackles, and the fact that they're, damned God that apparently the Hilden do not want to worship. Now, I don't really know if the Hilden were aware of the Elder God's true identity. Of course, we will never know because we never got a sequel to Defiance, so we can only speculate what probably happened. I'm assuming that the Hilden knew about the vampire's god, but it wasn't really a god. It was a parasitic entity that was presuming to be God and giving them false text saying, you have to die. And pretty much, really, the parasite's just feeding on souls. That's practically what the Elder God is. He's a parasite that feeds on souls. And he's, and the fact that Kain is prophesied, Kain and Raziel are prophesied to take that very entity down. Of course, there's many forces that tend to get in the way of Kain and Raziel's true purpose and goal that kind of throw him off. Now, Raziel goes through the same process as Kain. He has to complete the Reaver. He has to collect, all the Reaver elements from dark, light, earth, fire, water, and air. Okay, once he does that, he has a face-off with Kain. Of course, Raziel has the upper hand and does kill Kain as we think he is. But of course, Kain does not die. He just somehow Kain is not able to die. Removing the heart from Kain's chest that Raziel does, and actually ends up being the heart of Yana's origin, that he actually brings back to Yana's origin to restore the godfather of vampires back to life, but at the cost of Vorador. Actually, Vorador is in this game and does kind of give Raziel tips to where to find the heart of darkness. But we find out that Vorador does get murdered by Mobius. Of course, that was already stated in Blood Omen 1. We already know that he got beheaded. So overall, Raziel resurrects Yana's origin, godfather of vampires, and demands questions, wants answers. But Raziel soon learns that his role is actually much different than what Janos Origin thought he was. So he gives him this key to go into the sanctum of below the vampire citadel, and he finds out the very god that the vampires were worshipping was the god that that brought him back in the first place, the parasite. And it's up to Raziel to reclaim the last Reaver, and that was the Spirit Reaver, the most powerful Reaver of all. He does do this, and now with that said and done, Raziel must find Kain and reunite with the Soul Reaver. Okay, so practically, Raziel realizes he killed Kain, and there's no way to fulfill that destiny, that role. But of course, Kain isn't dead yet. Kain comes back to life, and of course, goes after Mobius, heads back to the vampire citadel. And of course, who's there? Mobius, of course, talking to his lord and master, the Elder God, and gets murdered right on the spot. And keep in mind, that asshole Mobius gets murdered twice. He gets murdered by Kain, and he gets murdered and devoured by Raziel and the afterlife. So it's almost like Mobius has two deaths. He dies in the material realm, and he dies in the spirit realm. So Raziel uses the body of Mobius to get to Kain, so he can fulfill his purpose by Raziel reuniting with the Reaver Blade, and of course taking down the main enemy, and that's the other guy. Now that's quite a mouthful if you think about it. What I like about Legacy of Kain Defiance is that it kind of brings everything full circle. You get a clear understanding of who's pulling the strings and who's the true enemy in this game, and also you get a resolution between Raziel and Kain. But the problem is there is one more story to be told, and of course we will never get that. And I heard it was supposed to be called Legacy of Kain Dark Prophecies, but I don't think we'll ever get that as fans. But overall, the Legacy of Kain series, the story is practically good. You're looking from the spectrum from Raziel and Kain, and they're both trying to defy destiny. Okay, they're trying to restore time, and of course they somewhat do that, but of course we can only speculate. Anyways, with the gameplay, I gotta say the gameplay is, oh man, it's improved highly, man. It's like both characters have great combat moves. You get you do unlock combats, you do unlock certain power-ups, and you actually get different Reaver abilities that actually really kind of add to the gameplay, and that's for both sides. Kain and Raziel both have unique Reaver powers that practically have a different effect on your enemies. But overall, with everything I said, man, everything in this game is just perfect from the entire series, man. You got the legendary voices like Michael Bell, Tony J, Simon Templin, and of course, I forgot that guy who played the Elder God, but not the Elder God, but Mobius. So this game, I'm giving a straight 5 out of 5, man. This game is a conclusion to Raziel and Kain's, of course, it has a conclusion to that story, but it's not really finished. But overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and I'm just gonna, end the video like that. Anyways, guys, if you like what I hear, please like, share, and subscribe. Until then, see you later.